9. Now, this is the new hotness. It's a tier 7 premium destroyer. And let's take a look at his build. So he's choosing main armaments, damage control, torpedo tubes, and steering gears. So Silver, I would choose some different options here. I would definitely go for the engine room protection. Hey Joker, who is he? Silver is a viewer, and he used to cover my replay earlier, so that we would take care of this. We had to go into whatchamacallit, golf with your friends for a little bit. Just had some fun. Yes, this replay did spark quite a lot of debate earlier. Although I think it was more because of a comment more than the actual replay itself. So engine room, I think, is the better choice here. You don't want your engines to break in any destroyer. Your reduced risk of flooding and fire. It'll help your destroyer not get set on fire so often, but at the end of the day, I agree. I don't feel it's not necessary. SAT says yes. Okay. Now, your torpedo tubes modification. This is fine if you plan on using your Tashkent 39 as more of a torpedo boat than a gunboat. Frankly, I was not impressed with the torpedoes of the ship. I was not impressed with the guns of the ship. And I'm not impressed with the concealment of the ship. So it's kind of difficult. I will say, if you want to play this, fine, play it, and then make your determination later if you like one method over the other. As far as steering gears, I'd probably go propulsion, then steering. What's your maneuverability? Let's take a look. Here's your maneuverability. A rudder shift of 3.87. That's with this module, with steering gears. Let's see what it is without steering gears. Now, I want my rudder to be under 5 seconds in a destroyer. So, I would say, I think you're better off going for propulsion over steering gears. SAT says, Tash is 100% a torp boat. Lowest DPM for tier 7s. The ironic thing about that SAT is, in my personal experience, I actually found cases where, like, I was depending on the guns more than the torps to do anything. Which is sad. But it is what it is. So anyways, I would go propulsion module. Here's your consumables. You got DCP, you got smoke, you got engine boost, and of course torpedo reload booster. Now, I don't know if you've got a special captain or not. This captain is literally torpedo build all the way down the line, and then concealment, survivability, radio location, and swift and silence. Okay. I don't know that you need liquidator. Ship torpedoes have a really good chance of flooding anyway, so that 30% I don't think is going to matter. I think you're better off going preventative maintenance, in my opinion. Keep your engines alive, keep your rudder alive, keep your guns and torpedoes alive. I think this is a better pick at your 1 point. Your second point, if you want to make them faster, okay. Although I still feel Last Stand might be a better choice between the two of them. Your third point, fill the tubes. Fine if you're going to play it as a torpedo boat. Concealment makes sense. Survivability makes sense. Radio location. Radio location is a double-edged sword because if the enemy knows that you are locating them, they're a battleship, they might be a little bit more frosty and they might try to dodge. It does help you pre-turn your turrets and torpedoes towards a destroyer that maybe is pushing you. So there's that. Swift in silence feels painful in my opinion because swift in silence, you hurt your main battery reload. Your main battery sucks as it is, but I don't know that you want to make it worse. And you get ship speed if you're not detected. I might drop Swift and Silence. I think I ran it in the build that I was using, but I might drop Swift and Silence. I might change up my build to something like this. What do I have left? I've got 4 points left. I might go Adrenaline Rush here. And then, I mean, I don't know. I might go with Grease the Gears, because the the main battery traverse is pretty glacial. It's very similar to Gramiashi and Shan, etc. So I might run a build like this instead. And then Signal Flags, you've got Anti-Det. You got Fire and Flood Chance. You've got Flood Chance, Smokes, Speed, and Consumables. I'm surprised you didn't take the other Fire Chance, although that tells me you're really not planning on using your guns much. Fire Reduction in a Destroyer is fantastic because you want to make sure that you don't burn as long. The less you burn, the better for you. So, you know, okay. Let's get into the game. And let's see what happens here. I'll go ahead and run the stream raiders off stream. What is this matchup? A tier 8 game. There's a carrier, but it's a tier 6. There's a sub, but it's also a tier 6. And Tashkent, it's a torpedo boat, but it's also like a very large cruiser. The concealment, as you can see, is only 7.6. The torpedo range is, I think that's the 10. Yeah, it's 10. Now, these are rather stealthy torpedoes. They're rather fast torpedoes, too. So it comes down to utilizing those torpedoes as you've got the ability to do so, right? Same health pool as a tier 9 counterpart. Right, Pac, right. So it's very healthy. It's just... eh. I struggled with this one, Silver. I really did struggle with this one a bit. Yeah, I felt pretty meh about it, Blue Falcon. Now, your anti-air reaches only 2.5 kilometer, so honestly, there's no reason, in my opinion, to turn your anti-air off. You might as well just leave it on. In other words, you're going to be spotted about the same time your anti-air starts firing anyways, so you're not missing out anything. SCT says it's about abusing your speed to find good torpedo angles. Yeah, I mean, that's what we found. That's exactly what we found. So Swift and Silence does make you faster so that you can try to get on the flank a little bit quicker, but the problem is right here. Plane spotted you, so there you go. SAT mentioned earlier, by the way, I didn't get a chance to comment on it. He said, Shiratsu doesn't really feel like a good synergizing build. And yes and no. I feel like if you're going to play the Tashkent 39, you need a destroyer that can div with you, that can deal with caps. And you know, it'll spot things, it'll cap things, whatever. Nice torpedo hit. Get your guns on this guy quickly. Okay. Your Shiratsu gets him. So, a ship that's got good concealment, a ship that, you know, can spot is very helpful. Alright, well, Shiratsu died. His name is Dead Horse, and he was beaten. And he got shot from something to the north. So if that's the case, you would want to expect to see maybe the Dutch cruiser up to the north. So it does look like it might be Oven Chicken. I thought I heard Oven Chicken speaking a minute ago. And if that's the case, it kind of feels bad, right? Because I mean, Chicken has that boosted survivability expert. Brandenburg just charges through the middle, so that's, I mean, sure. Okay. Okay. I didn't notice the blue tracers, Pac. Okay. Now, look at this. I like using the smoke here. You turned because you were going to be detected if you stayed outside. But because of your great speed, now you're able to get outside of the concealment. And now you can use the torpedoes again. Classic. Well, the thing about this SAT is the Brandenburg doesn't have hydro. Nor does the Tirpitz behind him. So it's interesting to see a German battleship pushing W. Oh, there's a Richelieu behind them too. Look how fast you're moving. 46 knots, guys. 46. The 3 battleships are div'd. Yes, they are all part of a div. Feel bad for your Dallas. Probably gonna die here. Silver, you could have opened up with your guns. You didn't. Probably because you wanted to keep dropping your torpedoes. And speaking of which, you got a good opportunity to here. Now, with the kill of the Dallas, these battleships are probably going to change course. So I like that you held your torpedoes until these battleships changed course. Because exactly, they're going to go towards the middle. I might actually, instead of following them center, I might actually swing to the 10 line here to try to get on the broadside of the Richelieu and stay on the broadside of these battleships. You're gonna keep working your way in front. Okay, there you go. Now you're starting to head out towards the east. Could be a transformer captain. Nice torpedoes on the Richelieu. Well, you do have a pendant here. Oh, is this Kuznetsov? Because of the pendant there? I think that's Kuznetsov. Your div mate died. I didn't even catch that. If he goes to 10 line, doesn't he risk the Moss spotting him? So, the problem is, we don't know where the Moss is. We don't know that it's coming through CCAP. Oh, okay. He died during the battleship rush. Got it. Now, the problem with going to 10 line is, as you can see, you don't have the torpedo the torpedoes don't have the legs to hit the Richelieu, really. But it does give the ability to back cap C. If that island at Echo 7-8 wasn't there, you probably could have gotten away with, you know, shadowing this Richelieu. Joker, that's a good point. He does radio location, so the Richelieu is radio located, so he knows he doesn't have to worry about the Moss. And that's why radio location is very handy, right? There's the Moss. Alright, this is a free cap for you now. It is Kutuzov. Why did the tracer seem blue? I got nothing. Like I said, I didn't really catch them, Pock, so we'll see if guns are fired again. But I do like the decision to go into C. Joker, hey, you're welcome. That's my gig. That's why I'm here. That's why you guys are here, right? All about learning the game. Now, there is a Seraph, so you could go through the sea cap and just go and nuke their carrier.
I actually do that here in a minute.
Oh, hey, Silver. Cool.
Hey, sorry I missed your ping. I was divvying with clanmates.
You're good, you're good. Are you using oven chicken in this, or are you using Kuznetsov?
Kuznetsov.
Okay, because of the pendant. We were trying to figure out, you had the tracer colors, so we were trying to figure out what the heck that meant.
Yeah, I posted my commander build when I posted the replay in the Discord, so.
Okay.
And it's a bad commander build. I don't know what I was thinking when I built it.
We saw it. I'll be right back, guys. Alright, now you got discovered a little bit because you can see him once earlier from the moss, but obviously he's so far away he can't get to you in time. So now you can just go right after the Seraph. Yeah, the traces are blue. I don't know. Anyways, rip the Seraph. We know he's dead. Don't focus on the guns. Literally, Paulo mill him to death. So in other words, what you're saying, SAT, is just go straight at the carrier and then turn at the last second and torp him in the face. And as SAT says, if you would have YOLO'd him, okay, then you wouldn't have needed to spend torpedo reload booster because you would have gotten him in the one torp salvo. That's fair.
This is why I actually die right here.
Oh, you do give me a death pick. Well, thank you. So, I think you're starting to notice the problem with the moss. So, one, obviously, you're losing the gunfight. Yeah. And then the other thing is, you can see that the moss is hydroing. So you wish you could back off, but you can't. I would honestly be stopping and trying to reverse here. If you're lucky, the moss keeps kiting away outside of hydro range. You can put your smoke up in 2 seconds and you're safe.
And that's exactly what I'm about to do here, but he knows that, and he also slams the brakes and starts to reverse back towards me to keep me in hydro.
Well, so here's the problem. You popped your smoke right now. I think you're better off waiting until you know you're far enough away, because popping your smoke is telegraphing to him exactly what you're trying to make happen. And then the Tashkent does a the Gate Moss does something very, very smart, right? There's your Kuznetsov. Timeout. You're not detected anymore. The hydro's over. So you started going back to full. You could actually try to go back to stop and reverse, but the moss will just keep shooting you anyways. But if you do that, it might give more time for Kuznetsov's ability to proc and get you heals. You're going to come out here in front of the moss instead. And that's going to get you killed. There it is. Listen, thanks for the follow. Well, we love ourselves a good death pick, don't we? What can we do? Look, did you see how we go underwater and all your shell hits disappear, and then as soon as we get above the water, they just reappear? That's fun. And SAT says your better choice would have been to run away. I do agree with that. But he took the fight, and then, like I said, you had a couple of choices there. You had a couple options. Maybe it was a little too late noticing that all you had to do is hit the brakes. And then when you finally noticed it, well, the smoke obviously gets you detected or tells the Moss that's what you're doing. So, man, imagine if you didn't come out of that smoke. You actually might have been able to save the ship. Hawk, I agree. We might get there at some point where turrets will, you know, be ejected from ships and stuff. We might get there. So Silver, you said you wanted me to give you feedback on how to be a better destroyer player. That sparked a little controversy, as you were here for earlier. Was I able to give you good feedback there, or is there something else you weren't sure about?
Well, I'll have to go back and watch because I didn't have the stream up at all. Literally, I switched over, saw you watching the replay, and I jumped straight into chat, right, straight into the chat here. So I only got the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I do hit on some commander build options, but I mean, you got very lucky that, frankly, those battleships decided not to chase you. I think the Moss not being on your side, right, not pushing through sea, helped out. So you did a good job of backcapping there. So, and it's just a matter of time before this Moss dies. That is true, Blue Falcon. Patience is important for a destroyer player.
Yeah. I almost was tempted to chase that battleships at first because, like, you know what, I'm gonna go, you know, torp, kill, damage numbers, and then I saw that they turned away from me, and it's like, I'm gonna do a turn around and go backhand, try to avoid the fight.
You had a chance to do that if that island at Echo 78 wasn't there. You could absolutely shadow those battleships and just keep plinking with your torpedoes, but, you know, with that island there, it's really hard. You have to somehow try to find a way to get in front of them, which you could do, but I agree, it takes you out of the fight too much. So now you get to watch Amalfi do dirty things with sap. There it is. Hey, Cthulhu's back. We got your Ignacio game coming up next, Cthulhu. Ranger gets the torp kill. Alright, let's pull up the replay render. Here it is. Okay. Nice torpedo hit on the Shards there. Here's the enemy push. Ah, okay. And then I can see here, so your div mate, the Shiratsuyu, just gets basically caught out. His smoke has already been used. He's trying to get out, but he gone.
A div mate there, I believe. Oh no, Uber noob.
Sorry, say that again, please.
I was thinking it was someone else I was divved up for in that match. A guy who was new, it wasn't though. So I don't know what he was doing there.
Gotcha. Okay, well, so here, let me go back again. With the Seraph here, what SAT is saying is run straight at him. And I agree. Who can stop you at this point? The Dallas is so far away. The Moss is so far away. Everybody else is so far away. Just run straight at the Seraph. And then when you get next to him, that's when you unleash hate and you take him out, right? So you did the instinctive thing that a lot of a lot of destroyer players will do, which is they will launch their torpedoes at maximum range, which you did, and you used your reload booster to fire them off again. And you fired them off again, and you're going to hit the Sheriff with those. But what SAT is saying is if you just went straight to him, you could have just annihilated him from 1 kilometer away, right?
Right. I think it's for me. It's this instinctive still thing where if it's not a destroyer, then it's a secondary threat.
Right.
So I kind of want to avoid the secondaries.
And honestly, it's a tier 6 carrier, so a German tier 6 carrier, I could see that concern. Anybody else is not. And honestly, a tier 6 German carrier, your Tashkent has so much HP, that's not a concern. And as long as you keep your bow facing that secondary ship, even if they hit your ship, the chances are they will not knock out your torpedo launchers, right? Because they're going to hit your bridge first. They're going to hit your bow first. You're protecting your torpedo launchers. So if you just keep straight at them, you're not worried about that. Once you get to the side of them, boom, unleash hell, he dies. Very little chance that the secondaries of that carrier will do anything. And then it puts you at a good setup. The other thing about the Tashkent 39, a lot of people struggle with, I do too. It's so fast that the usual rules of engagement don't really apply so much, right? If you were in, let's say, a Mahan at tier 7, you'd be approaching that carrier, and it would take you probably another 5 to 10 seconds to be able to dump your torps at him if you were to go straight at him because of the speed differential, maybe even longer. But the Tashkent 39, it's like you just yeet yourself at him. It's hilarious.
Okay.
Also, the Sheriff is coming your way, so there's no chance for him to run away. If he was going away from you, I could see maybe some concerns about secondaries because that's obviously more time as secondaries are shooting you, but he's going right for you, so that's the best possible engagement for you. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's like I'm still trying to learn DD, so like most of what I've been playing is the Japanese gunboat, like because to do research bureau, I just keep regrinding the Harugumo, so I'm Kitakaze's kind of my thing. So sometimes it like you said, it goes so fast. Sometimes I forget what tier I'm at. It feels like I'm running around in Kitakaze, so I'm thinking tier 9 and 10 ships.
Sure.
So I'm concerned about that level of secondary fire, main battery fire. So I forget that sometimes that the dispersion is worse down there. So I can do those things, be more risky, try to ambush ships more often. Less radar to worry about as well. But
I will say the Japanese gunboat line is a terrible line to learn destroyers with. And frankly, the same thing with the Tashkent 39. And that was what Grunty was trying to say, but he did it in a way that could have been offensive to people, right? So what you need to think about is finding a good line of destroyers that helps you learn the importance of spotting, the importance of torpedoes and stuff like that. I think SAT suggests the British destroyers or the French destroyer line. If you enjoy the Tashkent speed, the French destroyer line is a good choice. I would also say
I've completed the French DD line a while ago. There's something about the way they play. I just don't. I can't feel it. It just doesn't feel right to me.
If it doesn't click, it doesn't click.
Yeah, I am currently doing the European destroyer line. I'm doing that from the low tiers and playing that again. So I am trying to learn that.
So the European destroyer line is difficult as well because I mean, yeah, the torpedoes are fast, so they don't do as much damage, and you don't have a smoke to get yourself out. I really think, in my opinion, I would recommend go back to basics. So I would say American destroyers, German destroyers are what I would recommend to you. American destroyers are great. You learn the value of smoke. You learn, spotting things. You learn camping, decent torpedoes, decent guns. German gives you the hydro. that's what the Moss killed you with, right? So
Yeah.
having understanding of how that Hydra works and what you can and can't do, I think will help you greatly. Also, that Hydra is fantastic when it comes to locking down caps. So personally, I would recommend German destroyers, Americans. If you want to get into British destroyers, that's fine. SAT mentions there's a lot of consistency as well going up that line. That's also a very good point.
All right. I'll probably have to look at the British ones first, I think, because still like nowhere on those. The German ones, let me see. It, oh no, I haven't even started German, so I'll do them too. The American one, I'm on Fletcher right now.
Okay. So the British have hydro, but the British hydro is more of a self-protection hydro because it only reaches 3 km. So it's really just to protect you from torpedoes. The problem, it's a problem, and it's also a godsend in some cases with the British destroyers is they do not have engine boost. So you can't get yourself out of trouble very easily because you don't have the ability to boost yourself out. At the same token, you can't get yourself in trouble as easily because you can't boost yourself into trouble. So they kind of go both ways. You learned the American and German destroyer lines helped you learn destroyers. There you go, Glacial. All right, so let's take a look at this engagement right here, Silver. You just killed the carrier. You're feeling pretty good. And you're about to encounter probably your worst nightmare, right? The Moss. The Moss is here.
Right.
It's not rendering, but you actually have a chance here to turn away. And you don't. Instead, you turn in. And this, again, might come into play where if you learn the other destroyer lines, you kind of understand why it's a bad idea instinctively, right? By turning in, you make it easier for the Moss's guns to do damage for you. And your guns in the Tashkent have really good ballistics at range, which is fantastic. But as you get closer, that benefit loses in its, it basically loses its specialty. So by turning in here, you are playing the Moss's game and not your game. You keep turning in. Again, here's where you probably would have been better off stopping. The Moss, the way he's kiting away, what you want to happen is you want the Moss to get past this island. If you can get the Moss past the island, you're safe. But like I said, when you pop your smoke here, you telegraph to the Moss that you're trying to stop. So what's the Moss going to do? He's going to stop so he keeps you on Hydro. Ironically enough, your stop there actually works because you are about to go dark, and you go dark, and then just as you go dark, that's when you decided to come back out, and you get spotted and killed. So, oh well, it happens.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad game in the Tashkent. I mean, that's far more damage than I managed to do in my 5 games I played in it a few weeks back. So, congrats on that.
I think as beginners, like this is the second match I ever played in Tashkent. My first match was about the same amount of damage, but since then it's all been like 30k damage.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't found that much consistency with this particular ship. And frankly, it's been very frustrating to me to the point where when people ask me, should I get the Tashkent 39? My answer is almost always no, because I just personally couldn't find it couldn't make it work. Now I'm not the best player in the world for World of Warships. I'm experienced enough to be able to find positives and negatives to certain ships, but I struggle too. So, you should feel good about this game. All right. Well, anyways, thanks for sending that one in, Silver. Unless you got any other comments, we'll move on to our next replay.
No, that's it. Thanks.
All right.